Hello everyone. In this class I am going to explain active power and reactive power. By taking a small example. So most of the students are going to confuse what is active power and what is reactive power. Active power is nothing but the power which is required for any equipment, or a useful power, or a wattful power. And the reactive power is wattless power. Okay, it is not useless power, it is a wattless power. Okay now, so to understand the importance of active power and reactive power, I am going to take one example. So based on that example we can understand what is the importance of active power and reactive power. Okay, so a person who is staying in his home wants to buy a textbook which is available in the city. Okay, so to buy the textbook in the city, he has to go from his home to the city, but he can choose various options to reach the city and to buy the textbook. The textbook cost is around 200 rupees. For example, I am just taking the cost of the textbook is 200 rupees. I am taking three cases here to understand the scenario. Case number 1. So let us take there are 3 children who is staying in the house. There are 3 students who are staying in this home, and they have to they have to buy the textbook worth of 200 rupees. Okay, so student number 1, this is a student 1, and this is a student 2, and here it is student number 3. Okay, so in the first case he is going to choose a cab to travel from his home to the city. The cost of the cab is 800 rupees. Then after taking the textbook of 200 rupees, while returning to the home, he is not coming to his home directly. Instead of coming directly, he went to a cinema theater, having lunch. Then he came to his home. In the cinema cost of 500 rupees, lunch cost of 200 rupees. Net amount of expenditure done by this student number 1 is 800 plus 200,000 plus 500 1500 plus 200 1700 rupees. Okay, no? So the first student spent the money of 1700 rupees to buy a textbook of 200 rupees. Second case, he is not choosing any luxurious transport, just he has taken a lift from his home to the city, directly to the city, and he got a lift in some vehicle or in any other's vehicle, and he bought the textbook of 200 rupees worth, and again he came to his home again by taking some other's help like a lift in any vehicle. Okay, so what is the amount of expenditure he has spent to 200 rupees textbook is only 200 rupees. The third case is a different or a peculiar case. He neither asking a lift or nor going in a luxurious vehicle. Instead of doing that, he has borrowed a auto. He has borrowed an auto. The worth of this auto, I'm just taking an example. The rent for the auto is 200 rupees. And he has traveled from his home to the city by taking some passengers. And he got around 800 rupees. He bought the textbook. Then again he came to his home. Again by taking some passengers. Again he got 800 rupees profit. Then he has given that auto to that person and came to home. So in this third case, to buy a textbook of 200 rupees, he got 800 rupees plus 800 rupees, 1600 rupees. Out of 1600 rupees, 200 rupees is deducted. Hence let us take 1400 rupees profit. And 200 rupees textbook is there. Then he got 200 rupees profit to buy a textbook of 200 rupees. Okay, now. So, what is your observation in these three examples? Example number 1, to get the 200 rupees textbook, he has spent 1700 rupees for obtaining the textbook. In the second example, to get the 200 rupees, he neither consumed money nor earned the money, just he has spent the amount of 200 rupees which is required. In the third case, to get the 200 rupees textbook, in reverse, he earned the money around 1200 rupees as a profit. Okay, so if you compare these three systems, which system is the best system in our regular life? In our regular life, generally we prefer this kind of situation. We never ask a lift to some vehicles, or we never take this kind of auto, and we are never going to earn the money. In general life, we are going to choose this system, or most of the students are preferring this system only, right? But what is the actual system, or what is a better system? What is the best system? This is the best system to adapt, right? And here you are not consuming the money, or you are not earning the money, right? So if you turn these three situations, this is our inductor or inductive loads, and these are the capacitor or capacitive loads, and this is the resistor or a resistive loads. Okay, so is it clear now? By using inductive loads, you are going to spend the reactive power of 1700 rupees to get the 200 rupees textbook. In this case, what is our intention? Our main intention is to buy the textbook of 200 rupees worth. This is called active power, which we required. Active power of 200 rupees. Active power is common for all the loads. To get that active power of 200 rupees, I am spending 1700 rupees in one case situation. I am not spending any rupee more than this textbook cost. Second situation, and again here in this case I am just earning the money in reverse. Okay, now so when you use an inductive load, you are going to have the reactive power which is going to consume, we can call it as lagging power, lagging reactive power, which is going to consume 1700 rupees or 1700 reactive power. Example I am just taking. In this case, in the resistive load, it neither consuming the reactive power nor developing or nor generating the reactive power. Just it is consuming the active power. In the capacitor load, it is generating the reactive power. It is generating the reactive power of 1200 here in this example. Okay, so when you use inductive loads, you are going to consume the reactive power. When you use capacitive loads, you are going to generate the reactive power. Combination of this active and reactive power is the complex power. Okay, so based on this example, you can understand what is the importance of active power and reactive power, right? Thank you.